Andres, I'm late. This is what we call Big Sills time. What are you talking about? We're late. We're never late. This is Big Sills time, dog. Always remember that. We work on Big Sills time. And we always will. And we always start the program out with one of the legendary lines of all time. Big Sills. By the way, our great conversation that we had yesterday with Xander Kraus. From now on, I want you guys to reference Xander Big Z. He may not be Big Z on Birds 365 because that's a different type of show. Because when you're here, this is a battle royale. We should have a disclaimer on this bad puppy. No snowflakes allowed. And like Prince would say, if you can't handle it, you better not be here. I'm going to tell some of you folks right now, some of you may be new viewers, this might not be the show for you. So I'm going to put a Big Sills disclaimer out. If you're a pansy and you're light in the britches and you can't take certain things, this might not be your home. You might want to go see Big Bill or Big Mike pretty soon. Missing Ellie back on that teacup of a radio station, 97.5. You know, the strings with the cups? That's how you hear that thing. How you doing? This is going to be, again, another program that is not going to be for the faint of heart. Okay? Stu, no pansies. Oh, by the way, I want to start this out. Hey, that idiotic Olympic committee, after the drag show open that you had for the Olympics, which made me want to throw up in an airbag, do me a favor. Try not to get a woman boxer killed. Because you want to make a political statement by having dudes beat up chicks. You know, I'm kind of confused here with some of our political parties. You want to give the right for people to have abortions to women, and yet you want to have people get the right to beat women up. I'm not getting that. So do you want to protect some of their rights, or do you want to protect all of women's rights? Or ones that are convenient to your political agenda? Try to tell me what's up here. By the way, this ain't about a party thing. This is about right and wrong. Letting a dude beat a chick up at the Olympic Games for a political stance is deadly, asinine, and not fair. It's not fair. You're going to get someone killed. Okay? You're going to get someone killed. Dude. I mean, to make a political statement, hey, you know what? Hey, I believe that women should have, and by the way, either way, whatever you believe in, it's not abortion conversation. Whatever you want to believe in. But then to turn around and allow and say, hey, I'm okay with a man beating a woman up in the Olympic Games in boxing. I don't get your stance. Cosmo, you're right. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, tonight should be pretty cool over at Lincoln Financial. I love any time the fans get an opportunity to see their team for the first time. Dude, the experience of going to an NFL stadium like that. I'm going to tell you this, too. Do you know that 97% of NFL fans have never been to a stadium like that or been to a ball game? I got that number from Pepsi years ago. NFL fans don't traditionally have the money to go to games. So that's a pretty cool environment. You get a chance to go with your family. It's $10. You know, you get a chance to see your favorite players. Most of them won't be in, you know, they'll get some reps. Then again, it's a controlled environment. It's a scrimmage. You want to hear something crazy? You'll see your stars on the field more tonight than you will in the exhibition games. Did you think about that, Xander? Tonight, you're going to see Jalen Hurts practicing more than you'll see him in a game at any time. Baltimore Ravens for $10. For $10. Yeah, flexing goes on. Yeah, $10 though. I'm not spending a full ticket price to go to an exhibition game. That's not going to happen. No way. Please, by the way, you guys have been sensational. Please hit the like button. 300 plus likes the last 2 days. On fire. On fire. I got to tell you something, too, before we get going. You and I may not agree on everything. And I heard somebody say that earlier. Hey, Sills is wrong on everything, but I love him. That's awesome. That's all we want from you. That's all really I do. You don't have to agree with me 100%. You don't have to agree with me 50% of the time. I listen to what you say. Hey, you see all this stuff I have? Look at this. You got pages of shit. Pages. You're my content. You're my content. You're the best content. That's a fact. You're the content. Anybody who doesn't say that doesn't get what this is. You know, I learned a new lesson. Terrestrial radio is dead. And I hate to say that because I was reared on it. And I was in it for 27 years. I'll never go back to that. I could never do a show on radio. It'd be hacked up. It'd be cookie cutter. And you know what I would be doing? Giving content to people that don't want to hear the content that I want to give. You know, 90% of the people that talk on the radio, they tell you shit you don't care about. If you do that here, you leave. Click out. You know how hard it is for you? Think about what you have to do in the radio. You just click it on and there's Big Sills. In this, you have to do this. I got to motivate you to go to your computer every day, 2 to 6 Eastern time. I have to have you Google JAKIB Sports. Then I have to have you click and wait and watch. You know how many steps people don't want to do with that? Radio, you used to just click it on. And there you'd be. That's how motivated people are today to come here and talk with us. Why wouldn't I respect you guys? That's why, again, hey, I may talk shit to you and you may talk shit to me. End of the day, this show doesn't exist without you. Okay? This stuff doesn't exist without you. Jason says, again, this show talks about everything. We legitimately talk about front office drama. It all matters. I need Xander to show up in a ski mask today. We don't care about your shit talk, Sills. Flex and I got it. You don't care about too much of anything. Computer sitting in my work truck with my smartphone. Got to stay out of the heat. Bleed green. Holy shit. Dude. That's awesome. This guy's watching me sitting in his truck. Where are you, Bleed Green? Philly? Bleed Green is sitting in his truck. He's in his work truck with his smartphone. He's staying out of the heat. Bro, where are you, man? Are you in Philly? Delaware? Dude, thank you. You're my audience. Dude, blue collar workers, man. I was raised by blue collar people. Okay? I was raised by blue collar folks like you. I think I'm getting too mushy. I might have to move on. It's just getting a little too, I don't know, a little too weird for me. Bears and Texans tonight. How about this, man? We got a football game tonight. How you doing? Dude, I'm excited. Football's here. Look, the exhibition season sucks, but still, we got football here, man. Plus, Jason Cole will join us at 4:30. Pro Football Hall of Famers are going to be on display tonight. 2 Hurricanes, so I kind of have a little bit of an eyeball on this thing tonight because I help recruit Devin Hester and Andre Johnson to the U. So anytime we got the U rolling, Big Sills is up and watching that thing. Plus, Jason Cole will tell us, Eli Manning, he'll be on the 2025 first-year eligible ballot. Is he a true Hall of Famer? Isn't it crazy? Football is here. Same, Sills. I listen and watch your show while I do my route. Makes me forget about my road rage. Thank you, Cosmo. That's great, man. You guys watch me from your car. That's freaking insane. Sometimes I don't get a true understanding of where people now are watching me now. You can have YouTube in your car. You can watch it on your tablet. You can have me on your television. I've seen people send me over on my Twitter page. By the way, if you're not following me on Twitter, please do. It's that Dan Sileo show, so I'd appreciate it. I'm trying to get to 20,000 followers on my Twitter page. I think I'm hanging at around 15.5 or 15.7. I don't know where I'm at right now, but we get a ton of people checking in. So the impressions are insane. I get like 13 million impressions because I block everybody. I used to block everybody. You hear about Jason Kelce offered a job inside the Eagle front office? That doesn't shock me. Did you hear that Jason Kelce and Travis Kelce won $100 million for the New Heights podcast? How you doing? How are you doing? All right. We're going to take a look at some stuff here. The Big Sills takeaways on your coaches, the two new coordinators and the head coach. A concern that I have. Also, we're going to go camping with Green Bay, San Francisco, and Detroit. Do you guys agree? Green Bay, San Francisco, and Detroit. Who else would you put in that? And by the way, if you put someone else in that threesome and you want to add another team, we'll do that tomorrow. But in your opinion, aren't those the three teams that the Eagles are going to have to try to fight for the NFC Championship? I don't believe the Cowboys are in that conversation. I think the Rams are better than the Cowboys. Right? Are those your biggest threats? Thank you, Jack. Packers, Niners, and Lions. Right? Who else would be your biggest threat? Sills, would you be surprised if Kelce takes over Jeff Stoutland's job when Stoutland retires? Cosmo, I think, no disrespect to the job of being an offensive line coach, I think Jason Kelce has so many opportunities in his life to make so much money for his family, even outside of what he did as a professional football player. I think being an offensive lineman limits his ability. He's a great personality. He's going to make gobs of money, whatever profession he wants. He's on the Monday Night Football pregame show. He can do pretty much anything he wants. His podcast is going to go through the roof when it comes to the economics of it. I mean, he can pretty much do anything. Now, being an offensive line coach, and again, I'm not limiting that. Those guys make great money. But he probably makes more money right now than Jeff Stoutland outside of football. So is it about money with Kelce? Probably not. Would he have more enjoyment coaching O-linemen? Probably. But again, you have to always look at economics. You may like working at 7-Eleven, and no disrespect to anybody that does. But if somebody offered you a job at Neiman Marcus for triple the money, you're going to take that job, whether you like it or not. You're not going to sit there at 7-Eleven just because you like greeting people. Sills, you're my guy, but Xander put it to you last night. Xander didn't do dick. Even though you weren't wrong on what you said, just missing what Xander was saying, because instead of really looking at the big picture, Ace, he didn't win shit. He thinks he did. He's an Eagle homer, which he should be. Okay? He's a Jalen. Hey, he is a Jalen Kaepernick fan. And he should be. He should be a Jalen Kaepernick fan. W, baby. Let's go, boys. That's what he's saying. He's rallying its troops. He thinks he took the W. He didn't take the W. You know why? Because he's debating Hurts. That's why. He's debating Hurts. And anytime that's your guy, you lose. Hey, I do want to say this, though, because he did say something on Birds 365 that I agree with. On Jalen. Jalen Hurts got the 15th ranking on that top 100. Hey, lister for assholes. The player list, I wish more professional leagues did this. What do the players think? How do the players look at you? What do the players think of you as, like, a person? What do they think of you as, like, you know, your work ethic? What do your teammates think of you? I think it's a big deal. I do. Got a lot of respect in the league. Dude, you can't quantify someone having respect for you. That's not just something you just pass over. When someone respects you from another ball team, especially in that league, it's a good thing. It actually is pretty impressive that they respect him so much. I love that. They respect his journey. They respect his ability. They respect him. They like him. You know what that means? It's somebody you want to play with. How many people you see in the league that are quarterbacks that no one wants to play with? Nobody wants to play with Aaron Rodgers. You know, the only way you play with Aaron Rodgers is because of his gifts and his talents. That goes away, nobody is going to play with Aaron Rodgers. Guy's a dick. Everyone wanted to play with Brady. Was Brady more gifted than Mahomes or Manning or Rodgers? Maybe even Breeze? No. But they wanted to play with him. And they would take pay cuts to play with him. Think about what Tom Brady did versus everyone else. You took pay cuts to play in New England back in the day. Okay? It took pay cuts to go play in New England because they wanted to play with Tom Brady that much. That's the kind of shit Jalen has a little bit of. They want to play with the kid. It's a good thing, man. Sills, you sound like a guy who would rather lose with a traditional style quarterback than win with a traditional style RPO guy. The NCAA does not produce pocket passers anymore. Embrace the change. Hey, Bob, no. What I'm doing is I'm going with the criteria that the quarterbacks in the NFL right now that win those games until someone proves otherwise. You've been trying to roll out RPO quarterbacks for the last 100 years in college football, and it hasn't resulted in one Super Bowl win. You've had a couple guys get there like Kaepernick. Actually, you've had two guys. Wilson was a better passer than anything Hurts was ever. A different NFL then, too. Plus, you had Marshawn Lynch. And when they took Lynch away, Russell Wilson was just Russell Wilson. He's never been the same. You're going to win with people from the pocket. You think Jared Goff is a top-flight quarterback? Why would you pay Jared Goff $50 million? Why would you? You think he's the athlete Jalen is? No. You think he's the athlete that Lamar Jackson is? No. You think he's even an athlete that Kyler Murray is? No. He just wins. And that's traditional how you build your team. Wide receivers. And I will say this about Hurts. That's different. Here's one thing that he does completely different and better than Lamar. He's a better passer. He is by far a better passer than Lamar Jackson. Okay? And that's his separation from them. Lamar is spectacular at everything. But Jalen's a better passer. He's not the runner he is. But both guys have to rely on their wheels to win games. And when you don't rely on your wheels, you won't win games. That shows you how prolific those other guys are. They don't use their wheels to win games. All from the pocket. They don't have a full tool chest. But yet they get paid and they win. You're going to say, well, Jalen wins. Okay. He does. But like Emmanuel Acho said, you're going to win a lot of games, but you ain't going to win the right games. We'll see. Again, this year, 24, I can't wait. I cannot wait. I think everything's trending in the right direction for him to have a really good year. I am not so – look, I don't think there's a high ceiling. There never has been. Those guys don't last long. And even when Steve Young was a mobile guy, okay, even with him being a mobile guy, he ended his career because of concussions. Stroud, best pocket quarterback. Maybe Aaron Rodgers. Man, Stroud just rolls, but he also rolls in the perimeter. The way he rolls out and the way he moves around in the pocket, he's absolutely shocked me on his skill set. He absolutely shocked me on how good and fundamentally sound. That Bobby Slowick did a hell of a job down there with him a year ago, and I see why he was a major contender to get an NFL job. Vic had a long career. Vic won nothing. What did Michael Vick? Michael Vick. Here. That's a great take by Akbar. Nobody would ever look at that and go, "Wow, Jalen Hurts is more electric than Vic." He's not. What did Vic win? He's not a better player than Vic. He's not. Vic never had the talent around him like that. It was all Vic. You think Vic had top flight wideouts like those two dudes? $100 million offensive line? Hell no. It was all Vic. Top flight wide receivers in Carolina was Steve Smith. Had a good tight end down there. Greg Olson. Good running game. Nothing like this. Had good old line too. Carolina had a good old line around Cam Newton back in the day. Golf is a perfect example needed to move to a team, put a system that worked for him. Golf had a better coach in LA. Hey, but what's the one thing that has been consistent with Jared Goff, Bob? He's won with great coaches. Brian Johnson and also with Sean McVay. He's led two different teams to two NFC championship games. Jared Goff's a good football player. He's a better player than Goff. But get this, that list that came out, are you really trying to tell me you think that Dak Prescott's a better player than Jared Goff? Where in the world, in the amount of time, haven't those two guys been in the league pretty much the same time? I mean, am I right when I say that? Goff and Dak have been in the league probably the same. What has Dak Prescott done where people would look around the league? That shows you how flawed that list is. Would you really say that Dak Prescott's a better player than Jared Goff? What's he done? He's went to a Super Bowl. He's taken two teams to NFC titles. He's thrown for 4,000 yards. Show me where Dak's better. What has Dak done one thing better? He's had two number one offenses in the NFL under Kellen Moore. They were the same draft, Mike. Who in their right mind would say Dak Prescott's a better quarterback than Jared Goff? Name me one thing that he's done better. And I'm not a Jared Goff fan. I'm not a golf fan. I'm not. But you can't name me one thing that he's done. By the way, one guy goes stayed on one team. How about this? And he went to a city that Matt Stafford couldn't do shit with. And Matt Stafford had Megatron. What are we talking about here? He had Megatron and Reggie Bush. What exactly are you talking about? I love that fact, that argument. Dak Prescott's a better quarterback than Jared Goff. Where? Sills, Hurts may not be a pure passer, but even you said they need to utilize his skill set. And even though he has issues reading defenses, went to the Super Bowl. So did Colin Kaepernick. He couldn't read a defense to save his life. He couldn't read a defense either. You got to stay in that skill set. Once again, Ace, the further you move away from 22, I don't think you get there. If you stayed in that, hey, when you paid for a $50 million quarterback after the 22 season, it made sense. After the 23 season, it made no sense. It made no sense. Made no sense. Philly goes golf as a choker. At least he gets the NFC title games and Super Bowls. Like your guy. Vic had a great O-line. Machine and Jackson out wide. Shady at running back in Philly. Not too shabby. Two different teams, two different scenarios. Colin Kaepernick had talent on those 49er teams. Jalen Hurts has talent on the Eagle teams. Vic flourishing with Andy, maybe Kellen can help Jalen become a more complete quarterback. That's a great statement. I like that. Let me put that up there, Twiz. You're right. Vic said he wished he had learned more early and had a guy like Andy Reid. I think that was a shot at Dan Reeves. in my opinion. Vic should be in the Hall of Fame. For what? For being on the cover of Madden? For what? Michael Vick should not be in. He's not a Hall of Fame player. Absolutely not. Let's not diminish what the HOF is by putting really talented guys in the Hall of Fame that don't deserve it. He doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. McNabb's a better quarterback than Vick. Donovan McNabb's a better quarterback. Like, you know what my take is on McNabb? Okay? I mean, change the game to what? Never won. Change the game to what? Oh, I see. Okay. Change the game. So winning doesn't matter, but winning only matters to Jalen. But it doesn't matter to Vic. Okay. Kaepernick was a bum. Kaepernick got to a Super Bowl. That bum took that team to a Super Bowl. Okay. McNabb Hall of Fame? No. But close. Vic got to Andy too late. He sure did. If Vic was with Andy before, he would have become a better passer. You see what Andy learned from McNabb, Vic, Alex Smith. He's passed it on to Mahomes. Very true. Randall Cunningham was better. Randall Cunningham was 10 times the quarterback Michael Vick was. I mean, some of you are too young. Come on, man. Who in their right mind would say that Michael Vick was a better player than Randall Cunningham? You're out of your minds. I played against Randall. Never happened. If Randall had any kind of organization offensively around him, he would be in Canton. You want to know about a guy who was a legendary athlete? It's Randall Cunningham. I mean, damn, was he special. Randall Cunningham was Patrick Mahomes, unfortunately, in the 80s. Okay? That's what Mahomes would have looked like in the 80s and early 90s. He's Patrick Mahomes. He just didn't have good coaching around him. He was clearly, like Suplex says, Cunningham was the complete weapon. Run, hurdle, pass, had a gun, tough, eccentric, yes. But I'll live with all that over those other intangibles. He was a beast. You know, if someone told me, Sills, would you take Randall Cunningham over Phil Simms? Phil's my friend, been on the program 1,000 times. I'd say, yeah. Sills, would you take him over Eli Manning? Yeah. Would you take him over Cam Newton? Yeah. Yeah. Sills, would you say Cam was the best college player? No. No. Best college football player of all time is Herschel Walker. Herschel's the greatest college football player that's ever lived. He's the only guy that could have went from high school to the NFL. Just nobody like Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker is the greatest athlete I've ever played with. Just nothing like him. Stop arguing with dumbass comments. Vic wasn't all that. Vic was exciting to watch. He was. All right, let me get to my big, hey, Master, very nice. He was on the first team All-American team as a punter, not the quarterback. He led the nation in punting at UNLV. This guy could do anything, man. His daughter, by the way, I think is in the Olympics. I mean, even his kids are good. That's how good an athlete he is. Even his kids are good athletes. Bo's right there. So is Dion. No question. Sills, I'm heading to Cowboys. Maybe trading. I'm hearing that the Cowboys may be trading to Marcus Lawrence. then if they do that, it's a clear sign of it being a clearinghouse. Okay? It's a clearinghouse. By the way, guys, please hit the like button. Thank you, guys. All right. I'm going to start here before we go camping. And we talk a little bit about the opening exhibition game against the Ravens, talking little Ravens ball. But I want to talk about my takeaways and go more into the details of what I've seen with your head coach and your two new coordinators. Guys, please hit the like button. We appreciate it. Thank you again. Let's start it with Nick. Big Sil's takeaways for the first week of the coaching staff as they get in front of the fans tonight at Lincoln Financial. Nick's been out of the way. He's actually been saying and doing the right thing. I'll put it out here to you. I think this is the best that Nick Sirianni has looked behind a microphone in 3 years. It's early. We still have to wait to see adversity. But I got to tell you, Nick's been out of the way. He's trying to learn this new role. He's trying to understand the new role. He's trying not to be overbearing. Do you know how many people are overbearing? And he's one of them. I think he's doing a nice job, man. You know me, I hate the guy, but I think he's doing okay. I love how people hear rumors about the Cowboys. Cowboys aren't trading Lawrence. We are thin at defensive end with Sam Williams, tearing his ACL. Yeah, they're not moving him. Yeah, I think the one thing that Nick is doing very well right now, he's doing the political angling, and he's doing everything what they've asked him to do. They defined a role for him, and he's following along the game plan. That's all you can ask for Nick Sirianni. Now, again, we'll find out when adversity hits. Okay? The main thing I want to see for more, if he could teach Jalen how to read a defense, hopefully, well, he's not going to be teaching him anything. Okay? He's not. He's getting more comfortable behind the mic. It seems that way. It does. It seems that way. He can get coffee. Well, that's where I'm at with him too, Tony. But Tony, he's here. Don't fuck it up. You know? Whether you like him or not. See, that's the one thing that you guys have to understand about how I even talk about Jalen Hurts. Whether or not I like Jalen Hurts or not is not the point anymore. He's in the building. He's your quarterback. We move forward for that. Do I have a built-in angst, not liking that style and don't think there's a high ceiling? Yeah, I have that built in. That's why this is an opinion show. This isn't an analyst show. This isn't coming from some sort of pseudo half-assed journalist. Okay? This is what I see, what I've experienced. We're going to talk about Huff here in a minute. So I'm actually liking this stuff. There's not really a lot to... Hey, can I tell you this? Of all the guys I'm going to talk about here with your new coaches and with Nick, he's the least I have written down. That's a great thing. Nick's actually been seen and not heard. Hey, you guys can call him the Joe Schoen of head coaches. You guys can say all that. You're not wrong. But so far, he really hasn't been seen outside of those press conferences tonight. I guess he's talking in after or before the practice tonight. Great. I can't wait to hear what he's going to say. Let's go to Kellen Moore now. As we said yesterday, this dude's giving this offense a facelift. And that could result in the resurrecting of Barkley's career to where expectations that he never met in New York could be reached in Philly. Many of you said, He never really had the talent skills in New York. Well, all that's true. But what's also true on his side, he never lived up to the second round, or excuse me, the second pick in the draft either. You may say all those things about him. You're not wrong. But the second pick in the draft, when I look at Barkley and then I look at a second rounder and Derrick Henry, night and day. Derrick Henry overachieved. Barkley underachieved. Lesser talent. Well, I wouldn't say Tennessee's been a plethora of massively great players. Okay. Jason, thank you. West Palm Beach, way to go, man. Broward County, baby. Or Palm Beach County. So I think the Eagles going to make a move for an edge rusher in the next 2 weeks. They could. They could. Derrick Henry should have been a first rounder. Derrick Henry should have been a top 5 pick. Barkley was a second pick. Henry was a second rounder. How? It's like going Thurman Thomas was a second rounder. You're like, how'd that work? Terrell Davis was like a 6th rounder. Shit like that happens. Incredible. I say this, the key is not in this offense that Kellen Moore is giving a facelift to. Dude, the key is not AJ and Devontae getting the numbers. That resulted in that last year, and it got you shit. The people that need to get their numbers are the other guys. You need to get the other guys' numbers. Tight end, WR3, backs catching footballs. That's when you're going to play championship football. When Keith Byers said that the Eagles never played championship football from Thanksgiving Day on, that's exactly what he meant. It's funny, all your receivers got contract extensions, and your football team stunk at the back end of the season. How'd you get contract extensions when you guys stunk as a unit? So, Kellen's come in. It can't just be about Devontae and AJ making and getting their numbers. It's got to be a balanced attack. It's got to be more of a fluid attack. It's got to be more what Grant Calcaterra said. It's got to be a motion offense and everybody is a target. And everybody's going to get an opportunity. I mean, there's a great point right there. Professor, who's wide receiver 3 going to be? He may not even be on the ball club yet. Okay? May not even be on the ball club. Johnny Wilson has been looking good in the red zone. Okay, well, that's not going to help wide receiver 3. Okay, and again, what I love of what Kellen Moore's doing a little more of too, putting people in the slot, could be Devontae, could be AJ. There's no question. The motion looks good so far. It's like I said, it's the others. And the motion offense that we've seen in the first week in concept looks good. This is conceptual right now. In September and the fall, you're going to apply all the things that you've implemented, installed, your draft picks, your free agents, the techniques and schemes, changing of attitude, direction, practice habits. This is all stuff that's going to result in Sao Paulo, Brazil. The guy I wrote the most about was Vic Fangio. Scheme will not be the issue. This is Big Sil's takeaways first week as we head into the fan night, I'll call it, at Lincoln Financial tonight, where you get to see your football team. The scheme's not going to be the issue on why you don't play well. There's going to be a fundamental scheme that you're going to have, and you're going to play inside of those guardrails. And those are the guardrails that Nick or Vic thinks that you need to win Super Bowls and for you to win NFC East titles. You're going to play with multiple fronts. The best players are going to play. Here's something else. Tell me if you're getting this sense. It's too early for me even. It's too early for me to say this, but I felt this morning. It's August 1st. And do you know what my takeaway is with Vic being installed as your defensive coordinator? Why am I getting the feeling that the foundation of the defense is going to be Jalen Carter and Quinyon Mitchell? It just seems those are the names that I'm hearing every day. I'm not hearing anybody else. Those two names are popping up every day. Quinyon Mitchell's doing this. Quinyon Mitchell's doing that. Step for step versus AJ. Back and forth. Jalen Carter's throwing Micaiah Becton on his head. This guy's moving around. That's how you build fundamental and foundational players. Tony Dungy said something to me years ago. He goes, when we knew we had foundation pieces. And I go, what do you mean by that? He goes, well, we drafted John Lynch, Derek Brooks, Warren Sapp, Rondé Barber, Mike Allstott, and we had work done. All those players were our foundational pieces. The rest of the guys were going to be other dudes, free agents, not quite the talent like a Brad Culpepper or a Simeon Rice, who was very good. They acquired him from Arizona. But there was always like foundational pieces that you have to be a championship team. Look at New England, the foundational pieces. Gronk, Brady, the defense, Wolfwork, Richard Seymour, Teddy Bruschi, guys in the O-line, the left tackle, who was there forever. They had foundational pieces. Kansas City, Chris Jones, Mahomes, the center. Now you're getting Trent McDuffie. You're starting to build foundational pieces. Okay? It's good. But I got the guys I'm hearing and are benefiting under Vic so far have been Quinyon Mitchell and Jalen Carter. And get this, maybe Jordan Davis joins that group with the nose tackle position now that he's going to be playing. Maybe he joins in there. Can you imagine here? Davis comes through. Carter comes through. Mitchell comes through. I mean, if you're Howie, that's a grand slam. Because all three of those guys, if they play up to their physical skill set, could be on the All-Pro team, not Pro Bowl team. Seals, Howie's sitting on over $25 million. I think it's actually 27.7 in cap. There's talk that Tennessee's looking to rebuild. I know, Jeffrey Simmons. I know, but he's going to cost you. He's going to cost you at least a 2 and a 5 and at least $20 million in a 3-year contract. Would they pay that? Get this. Jeffrey Simmons, Jalen Carter, and Jordan Davis inside in the middle. Eagles win the Super Bowl. That's a Super Bowl move. That's a Super Bowl. By the way, Jeffrey Simmons is better than anything you have. Now, Carter's upside could be in that room. But as a legitimate Pro Bowl, all pro player every year, which he is. He's at that point right now. And I believe he's 26. That guy is the best interior defensive tackle in the game. I mean, he's quite a football player. I'm watching from a gym in New York City after teaching a kickbox class with no air conditioning. I never missed the show. Hey, Kimberly, thank you. Really cool. Hey, New York Athletic Club? Kimberly, is that where you are? The three would wreck shop sales. No O-line would be able to contain. No, agreed. No, Johnny Cage. I did not say you were winning the Super Bowl. I said you had Justin Simmons. You had that guy or Jeffrey Simmons to the mix. You're winning it. Chris Jones, Aaron Donald, not quite. Chris Jones is a good football player though, but I would still say that Justin Simmons is still no. I don't know, maybe not quite because that play that Jones made in the Super Bowl against the Niners was so huge. So huge. Dude, you get the I don't know. Hey, that's a good point, Ben. I don't know if the Titans want to do business when every time they see that Philly exchange number popping up and they see that 615 and they go like this. You think that's that dick Howie Roseman? You know, who do you think he's calling for? He's calling for Simmons. Watch this. Every time people see that 615, they go, here's Howie again. Holy shit. Like the guys in D.C. were probably going like this. Oh, God, here's this guy again. What the hell's going on? 615. Oh, great. Here's Roseman. He wants Simmons. Okay, let's ask for 2 1s. I'm not giving you 2 1s. You know better than that. Brian Burns didn't get 2 1s. He got a 2 and a 5. That's all you're getting. 2 and a 5. That's it. Right? 2 and 5. Thank you. Hey, a 2 and a 5. That's all you're getting, guy. 2 and a 5. 100 likes. Wow. Not even before the first hour ended. Like it. Let's see here. Let me go on here. I'm going to leave this one out. But so far with these 3 guys, good. 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 I have to get to this. Here it is. Before I get and we go around the camps, they call that the Big Z effect. Who's Big Z? I forget. The Big Zit? Oh, yeah, the Big Zit's on at 3:30. Be at the always remember who runs the controls of the network. Hey, it's like having a choke collar on, and he's got the app that kind of like, zaps your ass. Bang. Very good. Very nice. Very good. Hit the like button, my friends. Okay. So Big Sills has to bring everyone back to reality again, including Big Z and Big John McMullen. This guy's going to be a sensational ball player. Okay. Help me out on something. How many sacks again do you guys believe Bryce Huff is going to have this year? I want to put this in cement, and I want to keep this in perpetuity so that we have it. where you guys say how many sacks Bryce Huff. By the way, this kind of reminds me a little bit of our Rashad Penny shit that we had last year, where you guys were all just absolute nimrods over the guy. You know what's really sad, though? The guy has like a 5.7 yards per carry. I think that's what it was. This is really sad if you think about it. 5.6 yards per carry, and he's got to retire because he can't stay healthy. It's got to be one of the biggest yards per carry running back in NFL history. What a shame. 10, 9. I say 8. Shit, man. 5? Hey, hold on here. 11 and a half? You guys better get that number up. You guys better get that number up. So far, they ain't a win. 7.5, 1 interception, 60 tackles. Never happened. This guy's never had over 19 tackles. 2.5. Hang on here. Him and Sweat are going to go crazy with Jalen in the middle. 8.5. That ain't cutting it. Wow. That's your $51 million guy? 5 sacks? Ben, 10 plus. Tills, as an every down player, 10 to 12. If he's not a 3 down, he needs 15 to justify the money. That's pretty right. I think that's what Xander was saying this morning. This thing here, where is that? There it is. Right there. Right. If he can't set the edge, John McMullen was right. That was always, hey, what was my big bitch about Hassan? Limited on tackling and limited on covering. But he was still better than this guy. Let me show you something here. And please, follow along here with me. Why did they sign Huff? And what did they actually sign Bryce Huff to do? What's his role? When you pay that kind of money, $51 million, I'm assuming you have an understanding of what the role is, right? Or are you just going to gratuitously just throw money out? Why did you sign him? What do you think he's going to do for you? Guy had 480 snaps and 10 sacks. Let me get this. Do me a favor, guys. How old is Bryce Huff? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Hassan Reddick turns 30 this year, or he's 29. How old is, I didn't look this up for the show. How old is Bryce Huff? How old? Guys, please, he's 26. Okay. Huff's 26. Reddick's 29. Gonna turn 30. Is that right? Sound right? He's a starter. But we can't come back to the conditioning point. Huff will get his sacks and pressures. Let's trust. Alejandro, I'm going to go with what I've seen over the careers of NFL players, and I know what it takes to get sacks like that. You've got to have massive amount of reps. He's 30. Okay. You tell me then, Robert Saleh, who built the San Francisco 49ers defense, many of the players that are on that football team, he's got an eye for defense. Look at the defense that he's building in New York with the Jets even. We would all say this. I don't know if Robert Saleh is a good head football coach. But the one thing that I will say about Robert Saleh, he knows how to build a defense. Like when he gets fired in New York, if they don't win X amount of games, Robert Saleh is going to have he'll have a head position as a defensive coordinator in the NFL somewhere. Somebody will hire him. That guy knows talent. He knows talent. Why would you allow a 26-year-old player, you never offered him a contract, to walk out the door if he's so electric like John McMullen's saying. And then turn around and hire an older guy who does the same skill set and actually make a trade for him. Just explain that one to me. Why would they do that? A 26-year-old edge rusher who John says is off the charts. Why would a guy who's an experienced coordinator like that? That's not just a Jets move. Robert Saleh's handpicking the defensive. He handpicked Sauce Gardner. I mean, why would he allow a guy like that to walk out the building, make a trade with the Eagles, and actually give up draft picks for Huff or for Reddick? If that guy's so good, I'm not saying he's not. I'm asking a question, the same question that I asked about Hassan Reddick. Why is this guy on 4 teams in 5 years or 6 years? He's on 4 teams in 6 years. That seemed peculiar. If this guy's such an elite pass rusher, Arizona quit on him, Carolina quit on him, the Eagles let him walk out the building. Now he's on the Jets. 4 teams in 6 years. I've said the same shit. You know why? They're limited players. But Reddick's better. Or wait, Reddick is proven. This guy's not. You went with the lesser proven dude. Character? I don't buy that. Guy wants to get his money. Nothing wrong with wanting to get his money. That is what Fangio said, his weakness right now. God, even your defensive coordinator's talking shit on him. So here's the people talking shit on Hassan Reddick. And the only person not talking shit on Hassan Reddick's Howie Roseman. Your D coordinator talks shit on him. Robert Saleh talks shit on him. Joe Douglas talks shit on him. The only guy that's not talking shit on him is Howie Roseman and John McMullen. Find that weird? John may be right in the end. He may be right in the end. Right? I mean, you tell me. Huff has the same job as Nick. Gas checks. Reddick has been underpaid the last 5 seasons. Make the point to that. Sills, the Jets let Huff walk because he's a one-trick pony. That is not an every down player. Huff's money went to the other side of the ball. And the side of the ball that they need to address the most wasn't the offense. That's why you're top heavy, Bob. And you're not a balanced roster. The Eagles don't have a balanced roster. You can punch holes in every single side of the ball and every level on the defense. Well, here. Will Jordan Davis play better, be in condition? Do you have enough depth at edge? Do you have enough depth at DT? Your linebacking core is the worst in the league. Your corner one is old. Your backup corner is older. And everyone else in the secondary is inexperienced. And you thought all your contract movement would be at the guard position for Landon. 2 wide receivers got contract extensions. I mean, and you signed a $10 million running back. I didn't know the offense, which was 8th a year ago, was the problem. You had a 31st ranked defense, and you thought you'd address it by hiring shitty linebackers and by drafting. Okay, the drafting part, you can't say anything on August 1st about it. You can't. How is a guy like Reddick that good and get bounced around so much? Because Akbar in today's NFL, as much as we don't like Micah Parsons, what's the thing that Micah Parsons does? He plays the run enough, well enough. He covers tight ends well, and he's very good at it, actually. And he rushes the passer. Here's what Reddick does. He rushes the passer. Here's what Huff does. He rushes the passer at a limited role. Why can't people talk like that? They think because they're going to give him more reps, he's going to have more sacks. That's not the case. Let me ask you something. You gave Josh Sweat, and I heard Xander and those guys talking about it. You gave Josh Sweat more reps last year. What happened? His production fell off. You actually think that you're going to give Bryce Huff more reps and his production is going to go up? Where's that fundamentally sound anywhere? You gave James Bradbury 1,051 reps, seasoned pros, and his production went down. But Huff's is going to go up. Okay. How's that possible? You increased the production of Jalen Carter or Jordan Davis last year because he started. His production fell off last year at the tail end of the season. But Huff's is going to go up. Really? Okay. That'll be a new one. Why do you think that Fletcher Cox played so well the last 2 years? You know why? There was depth. Gave him a spell. He had more productive reps. Remember how he was gassed? What was it, the Titans game or the Steeler game? He was gassed. Then they brought in Sue and Linville Joseph. He had a great second half of the season. He carried over into 23. You could make the argument the best defensive lineman and the best guy that played in the front seven all last year was Fletcher Cox. Was Fletcher Cox. Roland goes, who plays 3 downs? TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, Nick Bosa, Von Miller, Khalil Mack, Micah Parsons, Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns. Shall I go on? I mean, I could go on all day if you want. Aiden Hutchinson, nicely done there, Yager. Aiden Hutchinson. He's a 3-down guy. Because that meant the other side of the ball, the Jets ball, that money went to the tools for Aaron. Okay. Huff went from a UDFA to $51 million. New York is betting they'll find another high motor guy. Fair enough. Fair enough. Seals boy, Justin Herbert already has an injury. Loves injury-prone quarterbacks. Yeah, you're right. I love injury-prone quarterbacks. No, I like talented quarterbacks. I like Sweat, Huff, and Smith as my edge. Well, you're in trouble with that. One guy's proven. The rest of them have never played substantial downs. You like that? Wow. I'm running at those 2 dudes all day. Huff and Nolan Smith, we'll find out what kind of metal you got, kid. Hopefully you put some bricks in your pocket because you ain't a big dude. Dan, what do you have on tap behind you? I see a beer. Oh, it's Michelob, my friend. That's a Michelob. How you doing? Marv goes, what kind of hate you throwing today? No, I'm asking you about your boy, who has been like Casper the Ghost so far in camp. I'm going to start calling Bryce Huff Cream Puff. Hey, I'm not going to go there yet. It's only August 1st. But give me some time. Hey, Cream Puff is on the horizon. Okay? Cream Puff. A dude better show up. And I agree with Bob. That guy's got to get you between 12 to 15 sacks this year for that deal to make it sound like it's worthy. Or other than that, his new name is going to be Cream Puff. Cream Huff Puff. You know them puff things, man? Those cheese puffs. Oh, man. Those big old cheese puffs. That's what Bryce Huff is, a cream puff. He's a little bigger than Dean. Oh, wow, that's comforting. Your kicker's bigger than Dean. Kidding me, man. So why did they sign him to $51 million? What exactly is Cream Huff going to be for you? I love it. Another 1 year wonder that's gets paid by us. And you know what? If he turns in 15 sacks, man, I'll tell you what, John McMullen's going to look like a superstar, but I ain't seeing it. Dude, the Jets just said, get the hell out of town. And I have always said the same. Hey, as much as Reddick, and by the way, I don't want to sit here touting Reddick as some sort of superstar guy because he's one-dimensional. But at least the one dimension he did, this guy got you 30 sacks in 2 years counting the playoffs. Substantial. This guy was the NFC Championship game MVP. That's substantial. If you were handing out an NFC MVP award, he'd have won it. He would have won it. I mean, that guy was like Conan the Barbarian in that game. He was. What if he actually reaches 12 sacks as a full-time starter? That would be amazing. And that Howie would get a guy like that at, 17-8 would be a steal. If he plays 800 snaps and gets you 12 sacks, that's a steal. That's what he's hoping for. That he can play 800 plays and snaps and get you 12 sacks. That is everything that they're hoping for. But as of right now, Vic says he can't do it. That's your own coordinator's words. I thought Huff was like 6'3". I thought maybe Reddick was shorter. Yeah, 20 sacks. Yeah, 1,500 yards for Rashad Penny last year. I remember that one, too. That was classic. I don't even think they took the car out of the barn last year. I forget. Don't hate on Huff. Dang, congratulate him for getting a good deal. No. Like I said this before to you, my friend. Ray, it's like a guy walking into a bank telling everybody, hey, this is a stick-up, and you don't have a gun. And the guy still gives you the money, and you walk out the door with no mask. Okay? No mask and no gun. You held the guy up with no mask and a gun. Hey, this is a holdup. And the tellers give you the money, and you didn't need a gun or a mask. This is a holdup. Here's the money. Thank you. See you later. I'm going to Galveston. I'm going to Galveston. They did for, let's see. The majority of our sacks will come from the interior. Then why pay $51 million? Sills, it's not just the sack total. Huff needs to get home in big games. Padding stats on the New York Giants. Yeah, Reddick got home in big games. Huff needs to show up big. Hey, Bob, the year in 22 that he had more hits on quarterbacks on third downs, more caused fumbles. He was a wrecking machine. You could have made the argument He was in the top 3 for Defensive Player of the Year in 22, and he was a Defensive Player of the Game in the NFC title game. That's a fucking insane year. And for you guys to come up with some sort of bullshit why you think he's too old to leave, and his time as an Eagle, he was sensational as a pass rusher. Sensational. Sensational. 17 sacks and then turns around with 11.5 with that bullshit defensive scheme. So in regular season play, he got you almost 28.5 sacks. And with the playoffs, he got you 30 in 2 years. He averaged 15 sacks a year. The NFC Championship game MVP, and you got rid of him. Sure. Hey, that made a ton of sense. Okay. Anything on Jurgens? Haven't heard his name mentioned since camp started. That's okay. He's a center, man. You don't want to hear anything. I don't want to hear any injuries. I don't want to hear anything except that the guy's picking up what he needs. Slager, you're the one telling us that Jalen is defined by his last 6 games and not 22. And now you're getting on the knee pads for Reddick based on 22. No, I'm on the knee pads based on Reddick's time as an Eagle. I'm putting his tenure together. In 2 years, he's got you 30 sacks. And in those 2 years, he was the NFC Player of the Game in that championship game, helped you get to a Super Bowl. And like I said, delivered 30 sacks, which is 15.5. In case you can't count, Slager. That's his time in Philly. Is that bad? That's Reggie White shit. Trent Cole stuff. Hugh Douglas stuff. He didn't do shit the end of the last year. I know. Neither your boy. Neither did Jalen Kaepernick. Sills, IMO, the Reddick move is based on the fact that he said he did not want to drop into coverage. Vic just spent a season with cornerbacks bitching about press coverage. So I'm sure he just cut bait. I agree with that. So you signed a lesser player who would be willing more to do something that is advantageous to his skill set. And Huff said okay to it. He'll get older. He'll get smarter. Huff's strengths are not dropping in coverage. His strengths are getting after people. That's where his impact's going to be. That's why when Xander was asking the question today, why did they act? What exactly did they give him a contract for? Give him a contract extension for $51 million. What's the role? Is it just to get home? Is it to set the edge? And John McMullen said, well, Hassan Reddick wasn't really good at setting the edge and covering. Yeah, but the one thing you had with Reddick was that his production in Philly is what I just said it was. You knew what you had. You eliminated doubt. Hey, if some of these other players like Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis are going to benefit from Vic, why wouldn't Reddick? YouTube says Sills always has something to bitch about. No, I'm not bitching. I'm asking. It's August 1st. He's not quite cream puff yet. But hey, here's my impression so far of Bryce Huff being in a Philadelphia training camp. Yeah, everybody. My name is Bryce Huff. What do you say? What'd you say? I can't hear you. How come the room's so dark? I can't see you. I can't hear you or see you. What's going on with Bryce Huff? How come I can't hear him? How come I can't see you? August 1st? Hey, That is another good point. Hang on here. Let me bring that back. Now, Sills, Bryce Huff is going against Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata. Yeah, I saw Hassan Reddick go right around Trent Williams in the NFC title game and almost break Brock Purdy in half. Remember, Trent Williams pushed him off to the tight end, and he ran right between both guys and annihilated the quarterback. Then they put the second team quarterback in, and I saw him run right around Trent Williams again. You must forget that game. That guy was running around Trent Williams. No, they were moving him around on both sides. They did all year that year. Wrong. Trent pushed him to the tight end. They put the tight end on him. And as soon as he blocked down the tight end, right in between both of them. Missed blocking assignment. Boom! And there goes Brock Chicken Wing Purdy. Yes, sir, baby. Boom. Oh, wait. You know what? It may have been the backup that he hit. Was the right tackle. He broke the second team quarterback up because if you remember right, McCaffrey finished the game. There were two quarterbacks he took out in that game. That's right. There were two. He went from left and then he hit on the right side. He did both because he took both quarterbacks out. Josh Johnson. That's it, Carmine. He destroyed Josh Johnson too. Comparing Reddick to Reggie's crazy. I said that's Reggie White like when you have 15 sacks back-to-back years. Nobody said he's Reggie White. I said that's Reggie White like. Who has 50? There's only one other player in pro football. There's only one other player in pro football in the last 4 years that has double-digit sacks. It's Myles Garrett and Reddick. Reddick was insane in that game. I'd make the point to you that guy had just as good an NFC title game as Hurts had in the loss in the Super Bowl. The guy was sensational. I'd never seen anything like it. It was like LT shit. He broke two quarterbacks in half over his knee. Crazy. Now, some say this. Sills, he goes against Lane and Mailata. Well, and why are you paying him if he's not quite that good? Well, those are the elite guys, so he's not elite. You had an elite pass rusher in the building. Which is it? Is he elite or not? Because Reddick was an elite pass rusher. But he's going against Lane and Mailata. Well, so did Reddick. And that guy gave you 30 sacks in 2 years. And the NFL top 100, Jalen ranked 15, Hurts, or Jalen 15, Dak 16. Jalen highest rank, NFC quarterback. This proves that Xander won. Yes. Oh, yeah. So who in their right fucking mind would take Jalen Hurts over Joe Burrow? That proves he's right. Okay, I'll tell you what. You take Jalen Hurts. I'll take Joe Burrow. Okay. Go ahead. It's great. No problem. Hey, do me a favor. Beat Tyrod Taylor first. Oh, man. Joe Burrow. He's better than Burrow. Really? Wow. I'm sorry, folks. I will not debate that. I will not debate that. That's not going to happen. My guy's better. Okay. Okay, honey. It's okay. Sills, which player do you feel makes the DL more dominant, Max Crosby or Simmons? Because you have two DTs in the middle, Bob, Crosby would be the better one because that would give you more depth on the perimeter. I think you need perimeter edge guys. Okay, I think you need, you think you need better perimeter guys. Okay. Yeager says until Jalen can read a defense, it doesn't matter who's the offensive coordinator is. Well, that's what I'm saying. But he looks good in pajamas. And the players like him over Burrow. Yeah, you know what's crazy? Organizations are going to pay that guy $55 million. And he's going to get another contract extension unless he doesn't get broken up. By the way, he's Joe Namath Burrow to me still. He's got issues too that I have with him. That's Joe Namath Burrow. Joe Namath Burrow. Until he could show me he can put a couple years in line, I got a problem with that. Stills, why did Aaron Rodgers have about 7 seasons under $4,000? That's your metric. Different league. By the way, in those years, just to show you how crazy that Forte comment is, and in that process, he threw for 38 touchdowns and 4 picks. Okay? Like that kind of Aaron Rodgers stats. To show you how pathetic that Forte stat is when you're talking about Aaron Rodgers. Maybe you missed a couple games too. Hey, one thing is for sure, your guy's never thrown for $4,000. So let's see the 3,000 passing yard seasons he had. He got hurt this one year. He had 31 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. This year he had 35 touchdowns and 7 picks. How about this number here for Rodgers, though? You think you'll ever see this from your guy, Jalen Kaepernick? 45 touchdowns, 6 picks. 39 touchdowns, 8 picks. 38 touchdowns, 5 picks. 31 touchdowns, 8 picks. 40 touchdowns, 7 picks. 25 touchdowns, 2 picks. 26 touchdowns, 4 picks. 48 touchdowns, 5 picks. 37 touchdowns, 4 picks. Fucking insane. How insane is that? I have to agree with that, Jalen. Okay? Boy, I'll tell you what, man. Simmons or Crosby, Stu, that would be really great. But they're going to play the younger guys. Oh, and who cares about those numbers? He's won a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP and 4 MVPs in a regular season. That's what he's done. Are you trying to make a comparison to Jalen Hurts and Aaron Rodgers? Please tell me you're not. What's it gotten him? First ballot Hall of Famer. What exactly are you talking about? Please tell me you're not going down that route. I mean, you might not want that one. Well, he won it 12 years ago, 13 years. Doesn't matter, dude. It's on his resume. He's won a Super Bowl MVP. He's won a Super Bowl. He's a 4-time MVP. He's got more MVPs than Brady. I know. Well, it's called a career, YouTube. It's called having a career. It's like reading a book. See, but a guy like YouTube likes to rip pages out of the book, like people like to turn and throw statues down or take certain items down in our country's history and kind of forget what it's all about and pick and choose the shit that just fits your narrative. A pro football career is everything. By the way, last year, the Eagles season from the start to the finish, if you put it all in proper context, They were exactly the same team they were at the beginning of the year as they were at the end of the year. You know what that is? Inconsistent. Last year, the word of the year was inconsistency because you went like this to nosedive. That's inconsistency. That tells the story of the whole year. The year previous to that, you were healthy, consistent. That's how you got to Phoenix. You won the war of attrition. Your roster was great. You were healthy. And your players performed. Year before that, your quarterback was new. Your offense installations were new. And it was a learning process. 21 was actually a year where you give the whole thing a pass. First-year quarterback, helped get him to the playoffs, coming off a 4-win season. Actually, the 21 season was definitely better than the 23 season because there were no expectations on Hurts in 21. They're not even sure he was the guy then. Jalen Hurts' best seasons have been 22, 21, 23. Who would have thunk that? Mike McCarthy had that guy humming in Green Bay. That's why Dak was doing numbers because he knows how to call plays. Yeah, well, I'll tell you one thing that I would say about Mike McCarthy. He's a junior version a little bit of Andy Reid Philly. I think that guy nuts up a little bit in them big games. 2 minutes into the half, 2 minutes coming or going at the rest of the end of the game. Andy Reid has got hey, you have to admit, that Andy Reid that you see in Kansas City is not the same Andy Reid play caller that you saw in Philly. That is not the same guy. Mahomes absolutely changes that dynamic, but just the way his mannerisms are. Andy used to be conservative going into half, and he was conservative at the end of ball games. That was one of the major problems that Jeffrey Lurie and the Eagle people had. That's why when that guy had a 4-win season at the end of the year, they were like this. I don't know, man. It looks like it's run out of juice. Hey, guess what? Mahomes can reignite anybody. You don't think? Would we not say that Patrick Mahomes is like jet fuel? Hey, my career got rejuvenated. Why? Oh, Patrick Mahomes was brought in the building. Okay. All right. We got a new introduction here. And, I don't know. I thought yesterday the guy, I'm Muhammad Ali. And you got to remember something about Sills being Ali. Every guy that has ever thought that they have beaten Ali, he went back and beat their britches off. And Ali, knows how to take a punch. Ali knows how to duck, bob, and weave, because that's why they call me the greatest. And that's what we do here. Xander came in all defending Jalen Kaepernick, and it was great yesterday, and I love it. And he asked the right questions this morning. By the way, they're doing a great job on Birds 365. So without further ado, we bring in, and the only way we can do it, Big Z. He joins the show now from Birds 365. Xander Kraus, the one and only co-host of Birds 365. How you doing?
What's up, Big Cells? How you doing, brother? Listen, if you're Muhammad Ali, you know what that makes me?
Tell me.
The white Floyd Mayweather, baby. 50-0, never lost. That's me, white Floyd Mayweather.
Okay. Did you see Mitchell and DeJean got red tagged by the Giants during the draft? Well, hey, let's just say this here, 304.
Oh, yeah, let's trust the New York Giants.
Yeah. Hey, are you really going to trust Joe Schoen with anything? I wouldn't trust him with a mocha. Sills, is the hype real about this college prospect, Harbor? I heard he's Megatron, Moss, and Tyreek Hill in one. He sure is, man. I'll tell you what, you're seeing a lot of superstar talented wide receivers in college football. And I'll tell you, here's the places that you go get them. Alabama, you go to Georgia now, you go to LSU for sure, you go to Clemson, you go to Ohio State. Those are the factories for wide receiver. And I think that's why a lot of teams are hanging out in those buildings, is because of that talent there. All right. So, Big Z, Was there something that sparked your ear that you didn't like? By the way, my poor aunt goes, damn. Is that, I mean, what's, and I go, what,